Kia ora koutou. This presentation is about two important programs of work that Fisheries New Zealand is seeking your feedback on. They are the wider rollout of onboard cameras on commercial fishing vessels and proposed fisheries measures to protect South Island Hector's dolphins. This part of the presentation is focused on the wider rollout of onboard cameras on commercial fishing vessels. The summary of the proposals for onboard cameras include the fishing industry's contribution towards the costs of the wider rollout. The wider rollout of onboard cameras. On 17 June 2021, the Minister for Oceans and Fisheries, David Parker, announced that up to 300 inshore fishing vessels will be fitted with onboard cameras between 2022 and 2024. There are already cameras in use on some fishing vessels in New Zealand. The wider rollout of onboard cameras will provide independent, accurate information about commercial fishing activity. This will provide greater certainty and more evidence to base decisions about policy and regulation, scientific research, and fisheries management. The summary of the proposals for onboard cameras include the scope of the rollout, in other words, which vessels will get cameras, prioritising the rollout across the in-scope fleet, so that means working out which vessels will get cameras first, and the fishing industry's contribution towards the costs of the wider rollout. Let's go through the onboard cameras work program proposals in a bit more detail. Our proposals cover the scope of the rollout, meaning which vessels will get cameras. We propose to prioritise those inshore vessels that pose a risk to protected species and have significant amounts of bycatch. Our proposal would see onboard cameras installed on all trawl vessels 32 metres or under in overall length, except those targeting scampi, as well as all setnet vessels that are 8 metres or over in overall length, and all surface longline, all bottom longline, all Danish seine, and all purse seine vessels. Our proposals also cover the deployment schedule for onboard cameras, meaning the order that the applicable vessels will have cameras installed for use. The question we are asking is, which vessels should get cameras first? The proposed deployment schedule is based on the risk posed to at-risk protected species such as Hector's and Maui dolphin, Antipodean albatross, and black petrel. The proposed schedule would see onboard cameras first installed on trawl and setnet vessels off the west coast of the North Island. This would be followed by trawl and setnet vessels off the north, east and south coasts of the South Island, then longline vessels, and finally the remaining trawl, setnet and seine vessels. However, we are seeking your views on this order of rollout. So that makes the second question to think about. Is this the best way to prioritise which vessels get cameras first? The final proposal we're asking for your feedback on is the fishing industry's contribution towards the costs of the wider rollout. As similar services such as fisheries observers are cost recovered, we propose that the fishing industry should contribute towards the costs of the wider rollout. However, in recognition of the financial cost of onboard cameras and to give industry an opportunity to prepare, we are proposing that cost recovery is phased in across the first 4 years. We're asking you whether it's appropriate that the fishing industry contributes towards costs that include costs for the installation and maintenance of onboard cameras, the submission, storage and review of footage, and costs for additional fishery officers. We are proposing that at least $10 million is recovered over the first 4 years. This would be recovered from quota holders using a stock-specific levy. So the last points to consider are: is it appropriate to recover the costs for the installation and maintenance of onboard cameras, the submission, storage and review of footage, and costs for additional fishery officers? And do you agree that the industry should contribute at least $10 million over 4 years from quota owners using a stock-specific levy? Decisions on longer-term cost recovery will be made in the future once the actual costs of the onboard camera program are known. This part of the presentation is about the proposed fisheries measures to protect South Island Hector's dolphins that Fisheries New Zealand is seeking your feedback on. Since 2008, Fisheries New Zealand has put in place a significant number of measures to protect Hector's and Maui dolphins. In 2019, the Threat Management Plan was reviewed for Hector's and Maui dolphins, and additional measures took effect from 1 October 2020. Despite the effectiveness of these new measures, there is uncertainty in the north, south, and east coasts of the South Island that fisheries risk has been reduced enough. This consultation explores 4 options to manage the remaining fisheries risk and protect South Island Hector's dolphins. It's important to note that these options can be considered separately or as a packaged suite of solutions, any combination across South Island areas. For example, your submission might propose a status quo option on the North Coast while preferring option 3 for the South Coast. Let's go through the Threat Management Work Programme proposals in a bit more detail. Protecting the South Island Hector's dolphins. Option 1. We can leave things as they currently are and make no changes to the measures already in place. That means there'd be no new regulatory measures to manage the remaining fisheries risk to the South Island Hector's dolphins. Fisheries New Zealand will use onboard cameras to verify fishers reporting, and vessels will keep risk management plans on board. The second option, called the Bycatch Reduction Plan, proposes that government and industry organisations work with fishers to proactively avoid all dolphin bycatch. The plan would apply to all of the South Island except for the West Coast, as the fisheries risk to dolphins in this area is low. Under the plan, fishers would use mitigation set out in their Protected Species Risk Management Plan. If a dolphin is caught, a range of predetermined escalating actions by Fisheries New Zealand and the industry are proposed at fisher and area-based levels. These actions are designed to prevent further dolphin captures by working alongside fishers to improve mitigation. The regulation of population and local area fishing-related mortality limits are proposed so that if the actions of industry and agencies are unsuccessful, then the Minister can intervene to impose measures or close areas to fishing. The plan would require onboard cameras to verify fishers' reporting. The third option proposes to extend the areas where low headline height trawl nets, 1 metre or less, where the vertical height of the net opening is no more than 1 metre, are required, or to introduce a maximum trawl speed of 2.5 knots, or to do both. This would mean that fishers who can adapt their gear could continue trawling. The extension of trawl gear restrictions are proposed. In the area highlighted orange along the South Island's east coast, including Pegasus Bay and South Canterbury Bight to Timaru. The South Island's south coast, highlighted orange on the map, which includes the entirety of Te Waiwai Bay and from Sand Hill Point to Wakaputa Point and 4 nautical miles offshore. And the South Island's north coast, that's between Farewell Spit and Cape Susi, to 2 nautical miles offshore. The fourth option proposes to extend commercial and recreational set net fishing closures around Banks Peninsula further offshore and would remove the risk of set net bycatch in this area. While we're asking for your feedback on all 4 options, Fisheries New Zealand's preferred options are the second option, using the Bycatch Reduction Plan, and the fourth option of extending the set net fishing closure around Banks Peninsula. The second option, using the Bycatch Reduction Plan, provides a flexible and effective approach to managing the remaining fisheries risk to the dolphins within defined limits while allowing fishing to continue. The fourth option would extend the set net fishing closure around Banks Peninsula further offshore. This will prevent any potential displacement of set net effort around Banks Peninsula from the 2020 measures and help maintain the expected reductions in set net related deaths. Fisheries New Zealand proposes that any changes to regulations would take effect on 1 October 2022, dependent on the Minister for Oceans and Fisheries decisions. If Option 2's bycatch reduction plan is supported, the implementation dates may be reviewed and aligned with decisions on the proposed wider rollout of onboard cameras. We hope that this helps you understand what we'd like your feedback on. We look forward to your feedback on the proposals outlined here and encourage you to read the full consultation documents that go into further detail on the wider rollout of onboard cameras and the threat management plan. To make your submission and provide your feedback on either or both programs of work, please visit our website at www.mpi.govt.nz/consultations. The consultation period for both programs closes on 6 December 2021 at 5 p.m. Thank you, ngā mihi.